Welcome. You are at the CCC.
Where there are no outside issues. My name's Anthony. I'm an addict and an alcoholic, another bozo on the bus, and I care about you.
Yes, and I'm Jordan, an addict, always trying to make good choices.
Yes, and I'm Louis. My pronouns are he and him.
Yeah.
I'm recovering for crystal meth and alcohol, and I'm always in search of balance. And each week we strive to foster a brave space where we can engage in conversations centered around topics of recovery.
Yes, and our intention is to hold and inspire better spaces for more people in recovery by tackling issues used to separate us.
So before we do that, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this episode.
Tell your friends about us.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say.
Say it.
Well, just tell your friends about us. Tell your exes about us. Tell the people you're dating about us. Put us on your profile.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
You got a profile on one of the apps. Put something on there that says "Listen to at the CCC."
Absolutely.
Get your life. What were we going to say, Jordan?
No, you should try that.
Yeah, I'm not on any apps. Why do you keep implying that I
on
am?
Instagram,
and
Facebook?
now the disclaimer.
No. And now the disclaimer. Jordan should shut the fuck up. I'm not on Instagram. Honest to God. Do you know my relationship to social media? I do not like it.
Oh.
No, it like fucks with my self-esteem. I get in my head. I start to spiral. The last time I had Instagram was for the podcast. And because like the feed, it pulls up, it populates based on the people that are following you and stuff.
Yeah.
It's called an algorithm.
So everyone that I was linked to on the app, well, I went into the search, was it the explore function? And it turned out it was like all of these like naked, beautiful bodies. And I can't do this. I'm like,
It's all fake news.
A lot.
fake news. Another disclaimer? Or were you going to say something?
No, please, yes.
The thoughts and opinions expressed on at the CCC are alone. We do not represent anyone but ourselves. In other words, we're just a couple of friends behind a mic here to entertain you. And of course, everything we talk about is for general purposes only. Are you on a bunch of apps?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Plenty of apps. Mostly games, but they're apps.
I didn't realize you were
exactly.
such a phone game person.
Me and Louis play the same games.
Yeah, I love that.
Really?
Yeah.
Head games?
Hey, ready? There you go.
I know, it was low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, exactly.
Low-hanging fruit. So we are continuing, and I think this is actually the last recovery program that we're talking about for our Different Paths to Recovery series. This one is, I'm feeling myself for now. I think it's because I had dinner. Guys, I had dinner.
Wow.
I had a lemonade. I had a Snapple. They don't sponsor us or anything, but I had a Snapple lemon tea. So I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling energetic. So today we are talking about our last recovery program, Different Paths to Recovery. And today we're going to be talking about smart recovery.
I know we're going to try not to get all emotional like the last.
Yeah, our last episode, I was feeling very emotional. Yeah. You know what I think? Do you know what I think? What do
you think?
I think it's because I heard someone talk about this before on another podcast about our podcast.
Oh,
actually,
nice.
Yeah, they were saying that what was very striking to them about our podcast is that we like underneath the surface, like, yeah, we make jokes and we talk about all these things, but underneath the surface, a lot of us are coming from like, we escaped death. Right. And like, there's like, when we're thinking about addiction, like a lot of folks, you think about what you see in the news and it's like very grim and it's very dark. And that there's this other side of it, right? Like, I think that we all get to participate in. I think our last episode, it probably felt heavy because we were holding the dark, like not just the dark, but like the real pain and the real struggle in addiction, I think. And that remains true. So today we're going to be talking about smart recovery. So for folks who may not be familiar with smart recovery, I'm going to use my 19th. I wish I could do accents, but so smart recovery. So smart recovery, it's a secular, so kind of like SOS, but so smart recovery is it's a science-based mutual support program for people who want to change addictive behaviors. So it draws on a few things from CBT, so cognitive behavioral therapy, motivational.
I thought that was cock and ball torture.
Yep.
Depends on who you ask.
Let's get that out of our system. So let's motivational interviewing, which is another form of another intervention, and then rational emotive behavioral therapy, so REBT.
What?
So
EBT?
REBT. So smart. What the fuck, Jordan? What were you going to say? I don't know where that came from.
Whoa.
That came from my
Violence.
soul, Jordan.
Violence.
I'm sorry. Do you want to hit me?
No.
Okay.
Eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind.
That's right. Poke, poke. What were you going to say?
I'm trying to find the abbreviation for SMART.
SMART?
Yeah. What is it?
Smart recovery?
Yeah, is it an acronym?
It is.
So while you're doing that, I'm going to finish what I was doing.
Okay, keep going.
So
It's self-management and recovery training.
yes, I wish you would read my slides.
I'm looking through them.
I want it. It's right underneath it. I want everyone to know. I know I've talked about this before. I was told, Anthony, you want to do this series? Make sure that you can produce some information for us, blah, 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 blah. I spent all this time, and then no one read them.
She didn't put any time into it.
You don't think I did?
She put a couple words in AI, and AI did it.
Do you know I anticipated you undermining my work? Do you know I anticipated that? You know why? Because no one can have self-esteem at this table while Jordan is present.
Wow.
I did a lot of work to put these slides in.
Wow.
I
Come
did
on,
a lot of
you know Anthony. That's his favorite pastime when we're all hanging out playing our games on the phone. Anthony's doing research.
And let's also make use of our tools. So AI is a tool.
Yes, exactly.
AI is a tool. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about yourself.
Oh, you want to hit one of those buttons? You want to hit all of those buttons? Okay, so let's kind of wrap up our description.
He's like a video DJ, you know. He's not really a DJ.
He's not really
a producer.
He's just hitting some buttons.
He just press buttons.
So one of the important parts of SMART is that it doesn't define addiction as a spiritual disease. So, right, a deviation from AA, a moral failing. I don't know who does consider it a moral failing, except maybe some people, or a lifelong identity.
Right. I think people think that addiction is a moral failing.
What I'm saying is that I don't know of any recovery programs that consider it a moral failing.
I think people outside of.
Yeah, maybe outside.
People who don't have a relationship to addiction or whatever can automatically assume that we have no will or whatever. Yeah.
Well, in fact, one of the reasons why like AA was so kind of was so important when it came out is because around the time, even before AA, we weren't using the medical model to talk about addiction, right? And so it was considered a moral failing. But when it got the medical community's baptism, when it was baptized by the medical community, then we were able to
baptize in fire.
Yeah. Similar with PTSD. Right. Yeah. With PTSD, it was only legitimized when we were looking at our troops and seeing that it was showing up in those communities when in fact it was actually happening in other groups. But yeah, I guess I used AI to give you that information too. So, oh my God. So it doesn't define it as a moral failing or a lifelong identity. Instead, it views addiction as a learned behavior that can be unlearned and replaced. So it's science-based. It's grounded in evidence-based therapies, secular, so not spiritual, no idea of a higher power. And the ultimate goal is behavior change. So the idea that addiction is a learned pattern and it's not an identity. Have either one of you ever done SMART recovery?
I was invited. We were going to have one of our fellows who does SMART recovery on the podcast. Remember we were doing that series, and we were invited, but
what were we invited to?
We were invited to go to a meeting, to join them at a meeting.
Who invited? No one invited me to do anything.
It was a little while back.
It was a while back. You probably don't remember, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's like...
you know what this reminds me of right now? You know how when you say, hey, do you have gum? And someone goes, no, I don't have gum. I have gum at home. That's what this reminds me of. Like, why are we talking about something that none of us have done? We were invited to. So SMART recovery is also... Go ahead.
This is no different than Women for Recovery.
What are you talking about?
We would like,
that was different. I was just trying to get the conversation.
Okay, got it. Okay. Get back. Yeah.
You would think we were drunk right now. No, we aren't.
We are.
So SMART recovery is organized around a 4-point program. So it serves as its conceptual background. So there are 4 points. No steps, no sponsors, and no hierarchy. So just 4 domains. So the first one is building and maintaining motivation. So clarifying personal reasons for change and resolving ambivalence around whether you really want to change. So that motivational interviewing is kind of rooted in that kind of idea. Coping with urges. So learning practical moment-to-moment tools for managing cravings when they arise. So CBT type of thinking. managing thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, identifying unhelpful think patterns and emotional reactions and triggers that maintain use, which is also rooted in CBT. And then 4, living a balanced life. So replacing addiction with meaning, connection, stability, and building a life worth protecting.
Why doesn't this sound like 12 step?
What's that?
It sounds like 12 steps. Some of the ideas.
Oh, say more. What do you mean?
Okay, so like.
Oh, but the other thing I wanted to say is like that 4th one is rooted in the rational motive.
Exactly, because we talk about, they may not say it, but we talk about like failing to enlarge your spiritual life can cause you to go back. So it's like all of those things, like focusing on the lifestyle changes, where all of those things are things that we talk about. Like, so.
Jordan, if I pull your phone, you better not be playing a game. Good job.
So what I was going to say is this is 12 step with no God, right? It seems more practical, more.
Well, this is all evidence-based.
Right. Mm-hmm. Whereas a belief in a higher power is belief-based, right? You have to believe in something.
Well, here's the thing, which is what I was going to say to Lewis, which is there's so much overlap.
Shut up, black man.
No. What do you mean? Jordan's not black.
No, I thought you said this is what I was going to say to Lewis. Shut up, black man.
No. Not touching that. So, but to your point, right? A lot of recovery programs do have a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
Right. Because we could consider like the 4th step has some CBT components to it, like identifying triggers, which in this case would be people in the 4th step. Mm-hmm. I'm still caught up on your AI comment because I'm like, do you not?
Well, at least he's consistent because
he's consistently nasty.
But he's been really consistent about like down with AI.
What did
AI do to you?
I don't know. I just don't like it.
Yeah. I used AI to generate some slides.
Yeah, exactly.
Questions me completely.
AI's helped us with a lot of the topics.
Yeah, look at how nice those pictures are. Yeah. Anyway, so
I'm glad everyone can see the pictures.
Well, maybe we can have. Oh yeah. I did like all this research, all this typing. I think you know what it is. Quick thing. I work so hard, and whenever someone questions whether or not I've done work, like it is one of my like most tender spots.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, like I'm like, what do you mean?
That's like the same with me. It's like I process the hell out of shit.
Yeah,
and then when you ask me if I've thought this through. Oh, hell no. It's like, you don't know me like that.
Anyway, that being said, so there is a lot of overlap, right? And so there are parts of, like, for example, when we think about the 11th step and 12th step, right? Prayer and meditation. Well, that can be easily linked to mindfulness practices, and mindfulness practices can be easily linked to meditation, like vipassana, all of those different kind of practices. So there's a lot of overlap.
Do you think a person in smart recovery would meditate, or would that be too close to spirituality?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that there is a lot of overlap between all of these programs, and I would say there is a lot of overlap because there are things that work. Right. And there's just like different
and then semantics things, like things that they call one thing, but it's actually like, it's all the same thing. I'm just not calling it what I call it.
Mm-hmm. So the meetings, so they usually have a facilitator. So it's often someone who's like a trained volunteer or maybe some kind of clinician. It's discussion based, it's interactive, it's focused on current problems rather than life stories. So you aren't kind of doing like the sharing that we do. It's structured around tools and exercises. So common meeting elements like include things like a check-in about current challenges, group discussions using CBT style tools, worksheets like cost benefit analysis, urge logs, so cravings, like rating cravings, which is a lot of what you see in IOPs thought records, open dialogue, where crosstalk is actually allowed. Because I've seen some structures where they'll ask if you want like feedback. And then
Jordan, do you want some feedback?
No, right now. Thank you for asking.
So the difference between abstinence versus moderation. So it's the critical nuance here. So this is where understanding matters the most for like when we're thinking about, where should people go. So it's officially abstinence oriented. Right. So smart recovery's primary goal is to abstain from addictive substances and behaviors. You don't have to be abstinent to attend though. So people can show up still using, unsure about quitting or experimenting with reduction. Change is considered a process. So SMART treats change as a process, not a pass-fail outcome. And then lapses are treated as like learning. So lapses are approached as learning opportunities, not moral failings. We keep coming back to like moral failings. So I think the last thing I'll share about this is that part of my understanding is that SMART recovery creates a space for people who are not like sure or certain, right? They might feel like they're pulled into different directions around recovery, and progress can look imperfect, right? So if we're moving away from, say, something like 12-step, there's a very kind of clear idea of what that looks like. We're SMART, there's a bit more flexibility. And the other thing is that you don't have to be ready or committed to walk through a SMART recovery door. The idea is that, you know, the tools that are available to that program are available to anyone, regardless of where they are with their use.
I typed in why was SMART recovery like formed.
Yeah.
And one of the areas that said to move away from lifelong labels. How do you feel about like the fact that like in 12-step, like when I'm an alcoholic, I'm always going to be an alcoholic or an addict. How do you feel about that?
Are you asking us?
Yeah, exactly. How do you feel about that? Because it's like I completely understand, you know, in the beginning, it's like, it's hard to imagine that that's a good thing that I'm going to be, like, I understand now. It's like, I have no problem acknowledging. It's like, I'm grateful that I can say that I'm an alcoholic and I'm an addict.
Yeah, let's come back to that.
Okay.
Because Jordan was going to say something.
What are you going to say, Jordan?
Was I?
Weren't you?
Sure. I just based off, I think, our last episode that we ended on, right? Where SMART is saying here, right, that lapses are not opportunities for moral failings.
Yeah, keep talking.
But that, you know, they're learning, right? Which I like that wording better, right? Because I feel like, again, in 12 steps, when you relapse, it's seen as you messed up, right? You go back to counting day 0, right? Like you start over, and yes, they say, okay, what, did you learn something different, or did you learn from going out? But there is this idea that like, oh, now you have to start all over again. Like there's a lot of people with sponsors that, oh, now we're going back to step 1 because you relapsed. You know, so it's like a go straight to jail, don't collect $200 as you go. Yeah. You know,
and that can feel demoralizing.
Totally.
Right.
That's all I was going to say.
No, I love that. So going back to this idea of it being an identity, I have a thought about kind of how people live their lives in general. So I think that this is kind of outside of, and this is not mental health advice for anyone. Nothing I say is. So ever. So I'm prefacing because I think that everyone is trying to organize their lives, right? And we do it in a bunch of different ways. And part of that is because the natural state of human existence is it feels boundaryless, right? So we have a lot of different things that create boundaries. We have laws, for example, we have customs, traditions, things like that. When it comes to addiction, again, in my opinion, I think people are also trying to organize their lives. So for me, I think that my saying I'm an addict and an alcoholic is actually very orienting for me because it is the label that most accurately holds the experience that I have. I think part of that for me too is also like I have ADHD, and because I have this label, it also matches my experience. And so that becomes easier for me. Like I can orient around it. So for me, I think it's important. For some other people, like maybe that's not important, right? Maybe there's like a different way of hearing I'm an addict and an alcoholic, and this is a lifelong disease. That's like, it can feel, I don't know. I don't know, like reductionist. It could feel like someone's being limited to like what they can and cannot be.
Yeah. This is ostracizing. I feel like it can be feeling ostracizing to yourself. Mm-hmm. I think for me, identifying what's helpful to like feel included, right? So that community that we talked about before.
Yeah.
So just being able to be a part of a group.
Yeah. Going back to what we were talking about, belonging, right? Like belonging is so powerful. There is nothing, I think, I read this once somewhere, maybe in a magazine, or I dreamt it up, but there's nothing more powerful than the influence of a group.
Right.
Nothing.
Absolutely. Well, I think for me, the only places that I identify as alcoholic addict are in those spaces. And I do that. Yeah. I do that as a way of kind of saying, I'm claiming my space. I'm claiming my space. And when I'm out, and when I'm outside of it, it's like there's so much more to me. It's a part of me. It's like it's not I'm more than the sum of my parts. Like, and this is a part of me.
It is a part of you. Yeah, it is. Yes, Jordan, you're deep in thought over there.
I know he's pondering.
What was I going to say?
Shredder bars.
Okay, but there's also times where I feel like in 12-step where you're. Oh no! Wait. Sorry, different thought. Okay. I identify outside of meetings because it helps find commonality with other folks, right? So when like I have a coworker at work, she's been sober for X amount of years. Oh, I'm sober too, right? So now we have something in common that we can build off of, and I can have that again community that's outside of my regular 12 steps, right? So I think being able to identify outside of just meetings can be a survival technique.
Yeah, I mean, it's a way. I mean, beyond recovery, right? Like we're all looking for ways to kind of. I was about to say because I want to say this, but Louis is going to say something.
Just say it.
We're all looking for access into each other. And then the second I said it, I was like, Louis is going to say, oh boy.
Yeah, right. But the way you ate that chicken burger, I'm going to wait till tomorrow. Try to get up inside you.
Oh man. My best in show days are behind me.
No.
So.
Wow.
But I do think that fundamentally all humans have the same fucking needs.
Yeah.
We want to be loved, we want to be seen, we want to be cared for, we want to feel safe, we want to belong, right? We want to feel important. And we will do whatever we can to get those things.
It's true.
And sometimes some of the strategies that we use hurt us in the end.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like if drinking and using is your way of finding community, right? It might eventually, it could hurt you, right? But if we're coming back to strong forces, I think one of those strong forces is just like wanting to be with other people, to connect, to be in community.
Which goes back to this idea that like you're saying that groups have a strong influence.
Yeah.
And so part of these other groups, right? They have different influences on folks, and which I think invites people to participate more, right? Whereas like, again, we're going to repeat last episode, but like there's things in 12-step that ostracize people, and push them away, right? So I think that's why there are options, right? There are these different groups because they are inviting and providing that group setting in a different way.
That's right.
That is inviting versus there's one glass slipper that everybody needs to fit their foot in.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that look for?
No, I'm listening and I realize that I don't have to respond. I don't necessarily agree. Yeah. But I also am coming from a place.
Well, what don't you agree with?
Well, no.
Let's hear it.
No. Yeah. I'm listening to and really wanting to validate because of where Jordan is in his recovery, and I'm thinking about my relationship to recovery and how I view things in different. Like I'm thinking about how we're talking about being identified as an alcoholic. I changed how I view. Like I've had a paradigm shift with what I think it is to be an alcoholic. I don't think of it in the bad way that I thought of it in the beginning. When I first came to the rooms, I didn't have a problem identifying as an addict. Mm-hmm. I just never wanted to be identified as an alcoholic, and I don't understand what the fuck that was about. Right? Because it's like once I'm a junkie. Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm just listening and taking it in because I realize that I'm sitting. 12 steps has worked for me beautifully. And I also realize that I'm biased when it comes to, and so it's like, I have to be careful. I have to be careful because I've had this experience doesn't negate what you're saying, and yeah, that's why.
Yeah. And I want to go, Jordan, we're going to say something because I wanted to say something about the influence of a group, right? That there's nothing stronger than the influence of a group. And so there are a couple things, right? So one of the things is I say this a lot in my work is that people will sometimes, it's already 5 minutes, but people will say like, why can't I be happy? Or why can't I have, like, especially when there's a trauma background, right? And one of the things I tell people is that the brain is not wired for you to be happy. The brain is wired for you to survive, right? That's an important distinction, right? Because sometimes if you grew up with a lot of trauma in your background, your brain is going to be primed for survival, which means that you're going to be hypervigilant. You're going to have some issues that show up relationally because you're protecting yourself. So at the baseline of that, if we're thinking about like the power of community, it's like we are wired not to want to be excluded by a group. And if we are wired to not be excluded by a group, we are naturally going to want to find ways to be a part of that group.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. And part of that is like learning how people operate and learning how people think. And I think you're right, Jordan. I think part of why different groups work is because there's going to be some overlap in some ways that reflect how someone naturally functions. And I think for me, it would be very difficult. Luckily, like 12-step works for me. Like for me, it would be really difficult because if I ever decided to drink or use, and I've thought about it, right? My first thought, whether I like it or not, my first thought is I would lose all my friends. I would lose my community. I would
100%.
Yeah. And that is motivating enough for me. And if that keeps me alive, then fine, right? Then that's, I'm willing to sit with that. Jordan, something went off in your head. There was like a light bulb that went off.
I smell smoke.
Yeah.
I guess that mindset can be potentially, when I put that mindset on myself, like, okay, well, that means that I can't explore these other types of sobriety, right? I can't do SMART. I can't do moderation management.
That's not true.
Because
let him finish.
Because
let her speak.
This thought process of I'm going to lose all my friends, because it's true, right? Like to me, in this fellowship, if you're not going to the meetings, if you're not showing face, then people assume you're going out, and maybe they'll reach out once, and that's about it, right? But if you don't stay relevant in the rooms that you go to consistently, people are, in my experience, do not, you're not going to stay too close to friends, right? Because you're not seeing face to face, you're not there interacting.
But that's in any relationship.
I was just going to say,
it's not just.
Wouldn't you argue that
I like this? If we have a friendship, and I've had,
we barely have a friendship.
Well, I have friends.
I'm kidding. I love
I have friends who have gone back out, and what I do, like, this is how I do it. Like, I will reach out, eyes and hearts. How's it going? And like, if you have a solid friendship, and I think the misconception is like we haven't made in 12-step because we have these built-in kind of this framework so that we can have these relationships, but they don't just happen. You have to do something. You have to nurture them. You have to nurture, and if you stop doing that, like you're saying, going to meetings, fellowship, or whatever, of course people are gonna like maybe reach out every now and then.
Yeah,
I'm selfish as fuck. I'm thinking about myself. I don't have time to think about you. And to your point, not everybody thinks that you're going out. Sometimes they don't think that until you come back.
Some people are like, really just thinking about themselves, and
exactly.
I think that's
forgot you. I forgot you existed. Who?
Yeah. I forgot to mention some of the other things because there's the opposite side of that of a group, and this I did look up, Jordan,
right?
Because I was like, what are the other sides of that? Like, when is it that groups are not as powerful? We are in control of the time. So Jordan keeps putting up his fingers, his smelly fingers.
You gotta put it in your butt.
Yeah. Yeah, he's tried.
Okay,
no, he hasn't. So people, so there are times when, for example, people do resist groups, right? One of them is if they have a strong internal value system, right? So if they have a strong internal value system, even if they have one ally who disagrees, right? Maybe there's someone that they align with who's like, yeah, fuck all of that. Let's do our own thing.
And that happens a lot.
Of course.
Jordan.
Awareness. We're not. What? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Say their names.
So sometimes there's like the awareness of the pressure itself, like realizing, like resisting pressure. That's why, for example, I can understand why people resist like ideas of authority, because even the group can feel like an authority, and that can feel like a cult. And then
100%.
then I would push against that. And then, of course, distance from the group. So the further away you are from the group, then it has less of an influence on you.
Yeah.
Forgot what I was going to say, but I think we're landing the plane.
Exactly. My eyes are crossing.
I know, I'm so tired.
The Castro Country Club is a safe and sober community center for all people and a refuge for the LGBTQ recovery community.
What is that accent?
Why do you talk like that? Go on.
Oh, God. We provide programs and services that help change lives by supporting personal growth.
Our vision is to reduce the suffering of addiction by connecting people to community, opportunity, and support.
You can find more information, including all the ways to contact us at www.castrocountryclub.org/podcast.
And check out new episodes every Monday.
Every Monday. Bye. We love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Make a choices.
That's it. Yes.
Bye.